My name is Jenny. My actual name is oh, no, yeah, my actual name is not Jenny, but it is a nickname that I go by just with families and friends. And so, just a little bit about me is that like I'm a current college student at UC Berkeley, and I'm just a personal blogger, a lifestyle blogger, and I model on the side just for fun.
That's what's up.
And yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's what's up. What are your thoughts on Instagram stories? What's your thoughts on that?
So my thought on Instagram story originally was just more of like, oh, well, it's kind of like Snapchat. So what's the point of using it? But now I honestly use it way more than Snapchat. I actually don't even use my Snapchat at all anymore. Yeah, so I think it's a very cool creation. It definitely, you know, rather than just having multiple platforms to kind of like in between with, you just kind of have one full platform that you can just use for everything. And I think that's really convenient, and it's really nice to see like what other influencers that you follow, or like friends and family that you don't have maybe on Snapchat, because like I personally feel like Snapchat is a little bit more personal and for like your closer circle, but story, it's really cool to see that like what they're up to and how their life's like.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's weird because like I know a lot of people were definitely bagging on it before it like implemented, and when it
Mm-hmm.
first started. I mean, and so like after like I guess like a couple months, I guess people were just made that transition just to like say like, hey, I think this is not bad. So I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, people like kind of like advertise like what they want, and they can kind of like put their stuff like from Snapchat to like put it on Insta stories, and they can live there for either 24 hours or forever. So I mean, I think it's real like dope. Like people like at least make content creation, especially for Insta stories. I think it's real dope. I think it's awesome. Like people are kind of creative with it, and they do their thing with it, and I think it's real awesome. And I don't know. I feel like when it at the time, I feel like people definitely complained about it, and
Oh yeah, for sure.
they're like, "Yo, this ain't the same," or they're still in Snapchat, blah blah blah. And I feel like it's just like another way of just like Instagram innovating. Like, cause like when Instagram first started as a platform, like you couldn't post any videos, you could only post photos, and it was just only at a square. And then sooner or later, Instagram started rolling out, 15-second videos, and then after
Right.
15
Mm.
seconds, then you could put a minute videos, and then you can put it at like a
Yeah.
larger format with a photo. And then they put Insta stories and Instagram TV. So I mean, I feel like Instagram is constantly innovating themselves, and when it comes to stuff, I feel like you can't really stay stagnant with the same thing. And I know, of course, people are loyal to Snapchat when it comes to the filters and stuff like that, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel like Instagram is constantly changing around their audience, and Instagram has like, a billion users. So I mean, they kind of have to cater to their audience, and I mean, of course, a lot of people are definitely were sad about when Instagram wasn't chronological. I know people would like that to be back again, but the reason why they did that is because like a lot of people are missing a lot of other people's posts. So when it came to that, that's why they made the algorithm a certain way instead of chronological. So
Yes.
yeah.
No, I definitely get it. Like in terms of Instagram story, I think it's cool because again, this is more of like I really like the fact that you're able to, upload like a video that you create rather than just like having to record it from your phone like Snapchat. You know, Snapchat has obviously it's good because it's more raw and organic, while Instagram gives more room for creativity. And I think what I'm seeing with the trends of like where they're going with this, trying to broaden our selection of just basically like ways of showing our creativity, and it's really cool. And the highlight, like being able to capture the memories and just keeping it forever. And I definitely take advantage of these highlights a lot, definitely, to like just share kind of ideas, share food, fashion styles, and all this stuff. So I definitely feel like Instagram stories play a big role in just my life on social media.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think it's just like it's just an interesting way, just to learn, just like maybe an intro of somebody, or just like if they wanted to do Q and A. Like I remember when that Q and A thing popped off, and Everybody
Oh my
and their
gosh,
mama
ask
was
me a
doing
question.
everything. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
there's so many accounts like they were on
it
that
drove me
wave.
crazy.
Yes. Yeah, I think it was dope. I think like at least they were like, "Yo, let's add this and see if that works out." And people like it. So, I mean, hey,
People love
I'm all
it.
for it. All for it. So, that's what's up.
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
let's see. What social media platform do you use the most?
Oh, hands down, Instagram. I rarely use, as I told you, I rarely use Snapchat anymore. And Facebook is like, okay, your grandma and your mom found out about it, so that's done and over with for a while now. YouTube is more content binging for me, and Twitter I tried, but it's so hard handling like a lot of social media at once, especially when you're like busier. So yeah, Instagram.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. So you barely use Snapchat anymore, and Facebook's just like more adult driven. YouTube, you
Yeah,
kind of just like, hey, if I'm watching a bunch of videos, don't bother me. And then Twitter's just
exactly.
like, yeah, if I have the time, or I just don't got
Oh
time
yeah.
for it. So that's what's
Yeah,
up.
Twitter is more on the side. Like I'm actually trying to get more into Twitter as well. I think it's a cool platform to kind of build like a personality, your personality, because a lot of the content in or on Instagram, I feel like just sucks away from being personal and being raw about it because you kind of have a very short description to kind of just type wherever. And obviously, you can go at it, in a lot of ways, but generally for me, I try to keep it like short and simple to not hurt anyone's eyes because, I know millennials and beyond, like we just have no attention span at all. And yeah, I think it's more of like if I had time, that would be like a really cool thing that I want to look into.
Yeah, that's what's up. What are the positive and negatives when it comes to social media in your eyes, in your aspect?
Oh, for sure. Positive is definitely, a lot of sharing ideas and just sharing, if there's a positive mentality or positive like change, social media can help to very like like fast forward those change and spread, good ideas so that it's more like worldwide, like, really easily like I don't know, just that and more of like connecting with others too, like connecting with friends, families, or just people in your circle or people you're more comfortable with. I think it's very good for networking, for just yeah, just overall just spreading ideas and just like social aspects. But that also comes with negatives as well. Like, if an idea, say like I think biggest problem personally for me is that like I have a problem with body image for sure. And just being on social media and following like these like great beauty influencers, lifestyle influencers, it definitely like lowers your self esteem or mine for sure for a little bit. But it's just that like, again, that's just more of your own interpretation of social media and how you view it. But it definitely like, gives people either confidence or none at all. And I think that's the positive or negative of social media. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I feel
no,
it. No.
no, well, Steph, I definitely understand what you're saying. Like, I feel like it's a dope platform, but I feel like people can kind of either fabricate like what lifestyle they're doing, or like some people just don't really show like either the positives when it comes to that. Because I know either sometimes there's either a lot of drama on social media, or I mean, I like the platform where you kind of use it as a community, as a way to either communicate or you kind of just like show love for other people. And maybe you can use the platform to like I mean, some people kind of use the platform either in a way where they're kind of using it just to go viral, or just like another way to just be famous and stuff like that. And I don't know, sometimes that can promote sometimes like not the right content, or something like not necessarily like the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I definitely understand what you're saying. So I definitely understand. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like definitely fabricating it is such a, good just sort of like way that people get other people down. Like, just in general, I believe in raw and true content. And obviously, when you're on social media, people want to show the best of them or best of their life, even if it's exaggerated. or just their whole content. But yeah, like seeing that kind of thing just leaves you with like goals and dreams are sort of far fetched and unrealistic. But that's again something that we just have to deal with on our own, kind of just find out how to accept ourselves, our lives, our flaws for what it is, and just move on with it. And that's when you can finally be really like truly happy with social media.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, I feel like, some people, they either kind of envy somebody's certain lifestyle when it comes to certain aspects. And I'm like, nah, just be yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really have to, like, be envious to somebody. And, like, you don't have to have that, like, kind of thing where, like, you have the fear of missing out a certain thing. Like, man, I need this, that. And nah, you could just be yourself. Like, honestly, like, that's, like, the best thing I could probably give somebody to somebody's advice. And they're like trying to like get to some like following, you kind of have to put content. You don't really get there with no content or nothing at all. So I mean, when it comes to that
Right.
aspect, and I mean, if people like want like certain amount of followers, and I'm like, you got to do something. Like, do you have a talent? Do you sing? Do you rap? Do you blog? Do you shoot photos? Do you model? I mean, something. You know, I mean, there has to be something that you can at least do something to be productive than other than being envious of somebody. So yeah,
Right. And I
yeah.
think I totally agree with that for sure. Like, would you rather spend like 70% of your time kind of just looking through other people's content and just dreaming, or would you rather, spend your 70% on working on yourself, building something that you want to see for yourself, you know?
I definitely understand to that point. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of,
oh yeah. We're
go
gonna
ahead.
say, yeah. Go ahead. Before I
Oh,
move
no,
on.
no, no. I was just going to say it's more of like kind of like what you're doing. And I think like it's really cool. I think people really appreciate that. Like, I think it's definitely like something really creative that you're doing. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. Like, hopefully, I could do something more like where I can at least give back to people. And so, but yeah, this is pretty much the beginning of it. So yeah, hopefully,
Oh,
I
for sure.
could continue doing something like this. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, it's real cool. Like, I get to like opportunity of it to like at least to do this and like at least like either like show like people that like different bloggers or YouTubers or something that either entertains people or something like people I have an interest in. And so like I'm appreciative of, like, having the opportunity, like, especially like regardless of any ethnicity. And like I have a lot of Asian people on this podcast, like regardless of that. But like I'm appreciative, like,
Yeah.
people like are like at least show me love for it. So like I'm happy about that. And so like I've been getting a lot of good feedback from it. And so I mean, I think it's just real awesome. So real appreciative. So
Yeah, no, of course. I definitely agree. Like, and obviously there's always going to be people who are like hating out there. But you know what? Like, seeing the positive reviews honestly just fills you with joy and just kind of erases the negativity out of your mind for sure. So definitely hang on to that.
most stuff. Are there particular or any particular apps that you kind of use, whether when it comes to either editing or when it comes to like just like go to apps you kind of use all the time?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think this is a good question because I think a lot of people do ask me what I use to edit my photos because I do. I post on my like Instagram highlight on photography about like editing and stuff and like the tap to edit kind of thing, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, like you use Lightroom and like your computer, all this stuff. But I really like I use your generic like photo editing softwares that girls generally use these days, and maybe even less. Like I only use two apps that I really know of right now is Visco Cam, VSCO, and Snapseed. And so like how I use it is Visco Cam has some really sorry, did you hear me? Sorry.
No, I can hear
Um
you. I can hear you well.
okay, gotcha. Um, so Visco Cam, they have some very nice, like organic, like unique filters that I use, not for the whole saturation, obviously. Like I only use that for like 10% of it, and then is more of like light editing and color saturation, that sort of stuff. And then I would move into Snapseed if I ever need to adjust any colors. Just basically like so what is really unique about Snapseed is that it allows you to select certain part or certain regions of the photo or maybe like a certain color that you want to like a certain like portion like color of the photo that you want to adjust without like putting on the change for all the other like portions, and you just yeah, you just change the color, saturation, and just contrast and that sort of thing. And I think it's definitely good to kind of fix like the balance of like the photo and stuff, make it more cohesive. And yeah, that's the two that I use to edit my photos and post them.
That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, the apps that I kind of use when it comes to editing photos are like using Visco, like you said. I use Snapseed sometimes, especially if like I have something unwanted. Like I'll like let's say if there's like a black spot in my photo or something like that, I'll use like Visco or something like that. I'll use I think it's called the blemish tool or some type of tool for it.
Oh
So
yeah,
sometimes I'll use that sometimes, and then to like plan out my feed, I use a app called UM, and you can yeah,
Ooh,
and you kind of like I'll send you like a screenshot or something like that, and you kind of like plan out
gotcha.
your feed, and like you can so it, like shows you like your Instagram feed and stuff like that, so you can like put like different photos and kind of like organize it like a certain way before you post. And so I kind
Mm-hmm.
of like using that application. It's real dope, and it's free, so it's like it's real dope. I really recommend that app. And then I've
Mm.
started using this app called Hugicam, Hu
Oh yes, I
HUJI,
know exactly what it
and where
is.
like it's like the vintage one. It's I think it's a real dope app. I kind of use that sometimes for like getting like random light leaks. If I want just like the date on the photo or something like that, so I like using that. It's real free. And then another application I like using this app called Unfold, and you
Unfold.
yeah Unfold. It's in the App Store, and you kind of get like free or you get different layouts for your for like stuff to post on Instagram, and it's real dope. I like it. I think it's real dope. I'll definitely send you a screenshot for that too. And so Unfold and UNUM, I'll send you those. And Hugicam, I like using that one a lot. And then I also use this app called Fonto, P A
Punto.
yeah PHONTO, and I use that for like free fonts and stuff like that. And I put
Oh,
like fonts on like my photos sometimes, like for like
right.
either like a caption, like if you see like on Instagram or like Twitter, if you see like let's say like a movie quote or like a let's say like a cartoon quote or something, they have like
Yeah,
font at the bottom or something like that or a subtitle. And
yeah, for sure.
yeah, and I feel like I feel like that kind of aesthetic. I think it's real dope to like either like put like a caption under your photo or like a certain type of font. So I like messing with that application all the time. So I think it's real dope. I
Mm.
think you should check that out. It's called Fonto. It's a real dope app. I'll send you all the apps later through DMs. So yeah, I think it's really dope. I think honestly, like you can use any app just to kind of edit your photo. Like for me, if I'm using my DSLR, of course I'm gonna use Lightroom. But if I'm shooting on my phone,
Right.
of course I'm gonna use Visco or some other app just to help me out in that category. But I think it's real dope. I think like people tend to be real creative. Like I've seen your Instagram. I think it's like real creative how you like kind of lay out your Instagram. Like one post where you had like multiple posts where they had like um it was like it's like a black feed or something in the background where it's like a square grid where it's like a black
Oh,
grid. I
yeah.
like how you like kind of like lined out everything. So I think it's real dope. So yeah. So
Yeah. I know. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Like, yeah. So for me, I definitely like for the planning feed, the app for planning feed one. Like for you, I use actually. I made like another Instagram, honestly, just to plan out my feed, and it's just very like obnoxious because you'd have to, in order to like kind of really plan it, you have to delete and post, repost every time you like make changes about your feed and that kind of stuff. But it has helped me throughout. And if you scroll down even below that, like I actually did like a color grid. I did like a rainbow grid where I did like maybe six or more photos on like red, and then like basically like a certain portion of my photos gonna have like red hue to kind of be cohesive, and then going down will be orange, like yellow, green, blue, purple. And yeah, I did that for like a whole year, and that was really, it was hard, but it definitely, like, I love doing things like that to show kind of like creativity in what I do, because I like, obviously, posting photos is posting photos, like like you can just post photos as a singular like type of art. But yeah, I don't know. For me, I definitely saw like my feed as something that I could like express creativity in as well. So yeah, I try to do that. But in terms of like the other apps, I think it's really cool. Like I personally feel like I don't have a need for obviously text yet because I haven't really dipped into like kind of like content building and just more of like ideas and stuff. I think it's just more right now like photos, but I'm definitely gonna use that. Like I feel like if I ever go into video like recording, blogging and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I mean, I like how like you just lay it out and saw in the app that I'll send you. You don't have to make a separate Instagram account or something like that for
Oh
that.
yeah.
So I'll definitely send you that ASAP. But yeah, I mean, it's I think that's real dope. Like, where do you get that creativity from? Do you get that from like other people on Instagram, or where do you get that from?
Like um my creativity actually I would say comes from when I was little, like around like elementary school, middle school, I loved drawing. And this is kind of like geeky, but I used to love like watching anime. And so I would replicate like, anime characters, like draw and like color anime and stuff like that. And I was just very into just that culture, that like drawing cartoonish culture. And so definitely like I think during that time my creativity definitely like broadened, like expanded and yeah, just basically like dealing with art, you just kind of have to be very creative with it. And so yeah, like just just inspiration for my feed comes from just like losing kind of that creativity as you get more busy, like as like school went on, going to school, college, like you have no time anymore to kind of like just sit around and draw because you are either studying, working, or that kind of stuff. And it's just a lot of creativity that you lose within that busy process. And so I'm still trying to retain, any inch or any juice, like creative juice at all. Like if I had any. So yeah, that's just the result of it.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, nah, I don't think that's any geeky at all. I mean, people like watch anime on a regular, like so. You're a okay. You're fine when it comes to aspects. So, I mean, honestly, people get like inspiration anywhere else. They get it from fashion. They get it from Instagram. They get it from YouTube. They get it from movies, TV shows. Animated shows, anime. It don't matter. So I mean, I think it's real dope. Like honestly, like how you kind of like position your Instagram. You said like you kind of like use like the distinct hue or what I mean. So I definitely respect that. I wish I could make my Instagram as like dope as that, but yeah, I think that's like real dope. Like you kind of have like a certain like theme towards it, or at least like something that kind of like people can at least like identify you by and stuff like that. So I think that's like really really awesome. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
So
No, I
do,
definitely like. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering, do you have like somebody like take photos for you, or like when it comes? I know when it comes to like modeling, of course you get photos, but like, do you have somebody take photos of you, or do you take photos on your iPhone? How does that like process usually go?
Well, that process is more of like, yeah, like whenever I can get anyone to take photos for me, I, try to ask. But generally, like, yeah, like selfies and all that stuff, like I take it myself. And then my boyfriend takes a lot of my photos. I would say like 90% of it at this very moment, because like we live together and it's just that like every time I need anything, he's kind of just with me. And so if we're not taking photos on the DSLR, because he's actually a photographer, I asked him to take it on my phone and I edit it. But yeah, generally it's my boyfriend or my family, all that good stuff.
But yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty dope. What were you gonna say before? Were you gonna say something before, or before I asked you a question,
Oh my gosh,
or
I
do you
totally
remember?
forgot. No, I was just gonna say like, yeah, no, just bring back up like the planning your feed and stuff. Like I really like yours because yours have a very like you put it in colors and stuff in threes, like the grid and stuff, and I find it kind of cool. Definitely think it's cohesive and very like pleasing to look at.
I mean, I try. I mean, I try. I think it's real dope. Like before, I was like, "Yo, I wish I could do this 3x3." So I mean, I'm just starting out doing it, and I think it's cool. I mean, honestly, like people can at least scroll down and see like either any like previous work that you've done or like just photos that you posted. So I
Mm.
mean, I'm just trying to do that and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm glad you
Right.
like that. So I try to make it pleasing to the eye, or at least like have it like a creative aspect when it comes to that. And I'm always experimenting when it comes to that aspect. So yeah, I think that's like really awesome,
Oh
especially.
yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah, because like I feel like art is just more of like trial and error. If you don't like it, you remove it. You like it, you leave it.
Yeah, most definitely. Do you have like any like favorite type of music that you like to enjoy to listen to, or?
Yeah. I as of now, I love R&B. Like I think R&B has always been kind of like my thing. Like I just love just listening to it, feel, being like the moment, sent to it, and all that good stuff. Like things like right now I'm listening to more mainstream like Daniel Caesar, Khalid, SZA, and what her, and I don't know, just really like R&B artists are like kind of out there right now, and also like more low key artists as well.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like for me, I generally listen to like more hip hop artists rather than R&B. But I mean, I'll definitely dive into R&B, like like
Hmm.
Frank Ocean, a little bit of Khalid, and
Oh yeah,
other artists and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cool.
no,
And
that's cool.
then,
I
oh yeah,
I
go ahead,
think
go ahead.
though like oh sorry I think that like hip hop and R&B kind of goes in like that. They kind of like combine a little bit. You know,
Yeah, I
they
think
kind of like
they kind of like complement
they're
each
similar
other.
in a way. Yeah.
That's what's up. It's cool. Why did you choose to do this podcast? I'm always interested. Always, I
Oh
like
well,
asking.
yeah, well, doing this podcast is, I think, is more of like a fun experience. I'm very willing to, try out new things and just do things for others, collaborate and stuff. Like, I'm always open to that because I feel like, you know, social media and kind of like just like content world is more about helping each other, and it's more about like, like just sharing ideas and sharing just, you know, like sharing about yourself, sharing anything that you can, just basically like how like anything that you can broaden other people's mind with, or like horizon, just maybe like ideas on like, yeah, I mean for me, like I personally hope that I could definitely like show people how like, you know, Instagram, social media could have its positives and negatives, and how like, the world of social media is not all perfect and that sort of thing. But I definitely feel like, since it's actually my very first podcast, so I'm pretty bad with it. But hey, learning process. But yeah, definitely, I just thought like when you hit me up with it, I just really appreciated the opportunity, and yeah, just supporting you, and just see how this would go, how bad I am as a speaker, and how I don't know myself at all.
Nah, you're cool. Nah, I mean, it's I've had plenty of people that like it was their first podcast, so like, you're definitely in the same boat as many people. So you're a okay. You're doing totally fine. So so that's what's up.
Thank
Uh,
you. I
yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
you're doing fine. When it comes to like fashion, where do you get that from? Do you get like from a family member, or like how did you develop your fashion sense?
Well, for one, my family has always been like a very simple, like fashion people. Like they're very like their style is very simple, high class, and I think definitely as a kid, I had more of an extra type of personality and extra type of style, and I definitely feel like I always stood out in the crowd because I wear like the tackiest things ever. Like, when I was in elementary school, I would wear like red jeans, yellow jeans, green jeans. Like everyone's wearing blue jeans, like I'm just wearing like all types of colors, and I'm making my hair like weird styles and stuff like that. And it's just everything's just more like it's just I was just crazy with it. And yeah, my family is always kind of trying to say like trying to tell me how like, oh my gosh, like you need to calm buy this and that. I just always had my own style and shop for really weird stuff. And yeah, like throughout the years, like I finally realized that wow, okay, like I really do need to, change my style up. And so just incorporating more of like the creativity and the kind of like wild extra looks that I've had in the past and kind of like the knowledge of fashion as I grow older. I kind of just that combines to become my closet today. And I'm definitely I feel like I can if I had the money, I can definitely invest more in it. But for now, obviously like gotta focus on like paying the bills and all this stuff. And so fashion is definitely like second to me right now.
I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, it's cool. Like, it's funny to like hear other people's like stories when it comes to like fashion. Since like some people are like, yo, like I got it from my mom, or I got it from like other people. So I think it's like an interesting take when it comes to that. So I think that's real dope.
Yeah, it
Um,
definitely is. My mom's a very fashionable woman too, so I think probably got it from that also.
that's what's up. Do you have any questions for me? I usually ask people that I interview if they have any questions for myself.
Oh yeah. Well, I have more like fun questions for you too. Like, okay, if you have $1 million, how would you use it to grow like just your personal brand? Because I know you're trying to build it up with like content and podcasting and everything.
If I had $1 million, for the million, I don't know. I'd probably spend it on maybe like some camera equipment. Probably spend that on that. I don't think I would spend all that $1 million to be honest. But then again, I would just probably spend it on like camera equipment. Probably new lighting stuff. Like, cause I like doing photography also. I like doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I'd probably invest in that. What else would I invest to grow my brand? I guess like just like video editing software stuff. Probably buy that and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Maybe like a new PC. Uh, let's see. I don't know. The stuff that I would buy is probably like not superficial when it comes to that. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess probably just investing in just like more photography equipment and stuff like that. If I maybe wanted to like get into the YouTube realm or something like that, maybe do vlogs. But
Right.
I think that's something that I'd probably invest in, and then probably save the money for something else.
Maybe invest in like a studio place that, or like a studio like kind of setup so that you can just do more
Yeah,
photography and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like a
Yeah,
studio. I think
it's
that'd
pretty
be
cool.
real sick if I could like build my own studio. I think that'd be super duper dope. So, what would you do with $1 million? How would you spend it?
Definitely I'd give my mom like 70% of it because I don't know, this is like my mom played a big role in, my life and we were immigrants and stuff coming here and she's just basically she to sum it up, like I don't want to go too in depth with it, but she basically gave away her life so that I can live mine. And we were very poor and so like, she went through a lot of struggles. She went through breast cancer actually like very recently and she's a survivor, yay for that. But yeah, definitely if we had like $1 million, I would most of it so she can retire and then use the rest of it for just building myself up and stabilizing myself and maybe build my own business one day because I my goal is to be an entrepreneur. Like be a businesswoman, that kind of stuff.
It's pretty cool. I think that's like real thought out. Like for me, I don't think I would probably like think about like a whole plan to spend the whole thing, but like maybe like a portion of it, yeah. And I mean that'd be cool to like have like a whole team behind me. I think that'd be real sick, just to do
Oh
that.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Like
it's
maybe have like start like something like really big with it too. I think
mm-hmm.
like as of now, society we're highly dependent on like money and just everything. And when you have the money, you essentially have the power, which sucks to say, but it's sort of true.
Yeah. I mean, like for you, I guess like if you had like a personal photographer, I guess like you'd be able to hire that person and just like do photos whenever, and then like if you wanted to hire like a videographer, like they could like do your own vlogs for you or kind of like shoot for you if you wanted to put out content. So yeah, I think that's like real dope. And so like if you wanted to like open up like a makeup line or something like that, or you wanted to do like anything like creative wise, you would definitely have the money or means to do it. So Yeah, I
Oh
definitely
yeah,
would
for
respect the
sure.
hustle. So
Like,
yeah, go.
yeah, no, I'm really just thankful though, like in terms of photography and art wise, like my boyfriend's a photographer, so I'm very like happy that I don't really have to invest any money, just shoots and everything. Like I think for us this is more like we grow together, like internally and through our craft. And I'm just really appreciating having him here with me. And so like that would definitely save me a lot of money as well as just like, creatively, like I can just do it on my own schedule and my own convenience, you know? And yeah, so it shows that like, yeah, like money, like you can do it using or like basically use it to buy things that you can't like negotiate or like barter with people with. Like I would rather like, things like collaborating or like building like just anything like photography, art, like videos and that kind of thing. Like I think it's better to collaborate than to pay for service because it's more wholesome and genuine. Like if obviously if it comes to it and you really have no resources, then obviously you'll have to pay for service. But for me, I'm such a cheapskate. I try to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, most def. You just you're balling on a budget. You want to save as much as you can. So so
Yeah,
yeah, I
falling on a budget.
yeah. So I don't have any more questions for you, but yeah, thank you for like at least like coming out and doing this. I think this is like really really awesome. We have to do
Oh
this
yeah, for
again sometime or
sure.
something like that in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, feel free to hit me up. Like, honestly, I always look at my like DMs whenever, I'm available. And obviously, if it's not like random cat calls, then I'm always willing to, collaborate and all that kind of stuff. And, it's been a fun experience. I feel like I'm pretty bad at this. So hopefully, if we ever do it in the future, like, I'll be better at answering questions.
Nah, nah, it was good. It was excellent. So yeah, you're fine. Don't worry about
All
it.
right,
You'll be
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, thank you. I really appreciate that. So
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much for doing this, like for, us as like content creators and for yourself. Like I'm really proud of the fact that like, you're actually going out there and doing the hard work that people generally try to avoid or, people are too lazy to do. Cause, things like these scheduling and actually like trying to work things out with others is very hard. And it's very like you just have to have your own like kind of work ethics. You have to have a work ethics for sure. So I respect that grind.
thank you. I appreciate it. Like I'm just trying to do the bare basics, the minimum. Just kind of just do my way of just like message people. See if they're available, schedule, and see if we can do it, make it happen. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like I'm really appreciative. Like people actually respond and what I mean, at least take their time out of the day just to do this. So I'm more than willing just to listen to people. So